Have you ever been watching something and you realize that you're like, wait a minute, right there. It's referencing something like a beloved movie or like show or song or cartoon, anything has a reference to something else and you're the only one who spots it? One of my favorite movies in all of existence is Big Trouble in Little China. It's a 1980s John Carpenter cult classic film starring Kurt Russell as Jack Burton, Victor Wong as Egg Shen, James Hong as Lo Pan, Dennis Dunn as Wang Chi, and Kim Cattrall as Gracie Long. When I tell you the possibility of me watching this film without quoting it is about the same possibility of me going to an all-you-can-eat, lactose-infested Sunday jamboree without feeling pain. It's zero. It is zero. Possibility is zero. And if you're thinking, I don't know what you're talking about, never heard of Big Trouble in Little China or anything like that, so obviously wouldn't understand a reference, well, you're in luck because it brings me to the reason for this video that you are peeping with your peepers right now. I am going to be giving some of my favorite references in the wild to this beloved movie. And if you haven't seen it, I absolutely recommend you see it. It is the only movie where I've ever seen the main character be the side character in the entire film, and they don't know it. Absolutely recommend it. You can call me Astro. I have no educations, degrees, certifications, really anything. I'm just a dude who goblin rants on the internet. So before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot to me that you would just sit and listen to me ramble about whatever I want because I like stuff like that, and maybe you will too. So I really just wanted to take some time to mention some of my favorite references to Big Trouble in Little China in the media wilds that exist out there. What I am going to do is I'm going to skip over the plethora of title references that you probably don't even realize are title references that are pretty much like there are so many of them out there. Now, I'm going to start off with the basis of two popular video game characters from a franchise called Mortal Kombat. You may have heard of it, maybe, I don't know. The first being the soul-sucking character Shang Tsung is actually inspired by the main villain of Big Trouble in Little China, which is Lo Pan. Another reference to Lo Pan actually slapped me in the face while I was watching cartoons with my kids on an autumn morning. There's a character in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2012 version, called Ho Chan, which is a play on Lo Pan. It's in episode 23 of season 2, a Chinatown ghost story. And basically, this character not only looks identical to Lo Pan, it is actually even voiced by James Wong himself, who played Lo Pan in Big Trouble in Little China. So that was actually a really neat reference that came out of nowhere for me. If you've seen this character here, then you'd be surprised to know that this character here was the direct inspiration for him. He is called Lightning. He is from the trio The Three Storms, which is pretty cool. They all control different parts of like weather, and obviously he controls lightning, even like down to the straw hat. Speaking of lightning, if you like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, specifically season 3, Mac and Charlie make a reference to Kurt Russell fighting a guy who shoots lightning out of his fingers and wears a straw hat and his eyes turn white. So that is also a reference to Big Trouble in Little China, which caught me off guard because it came out of nowhere, and I love that show because a lot of stuff's off the cuff. I used to play World of Warcraft all the time, and there was a random loot drop that could happen called the Six Demons Bag. And the Six Demons Bag read, blast enemies in front of you with the power of wind, fire, and all that kind of thing, which is a direct reference to an item in Big Trouble in Little China also named the Six Demon Bag, which Egg Shen holds, and he describes it when asked what it does or holds as holding wind, fire, and also all that kind of thing. So I was pleasantly surprised when I got that item. This one I actually had someone point out to me. In 2007's Death Proof, starring Kurt Russell, who plays Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China, in the background of one of the scenes in a bar, you can actually see the tank top that Jack Burton wore during the movie Big Trouble in Little China, which I think is really cool to nod to other movies that Kurt Russell was in. And I believe that Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino were big fans of Big Trouble in Little China. I really do love finding Easter eggs in so many things, and I know a lot of other people do. There's something about like finding something that you love out in the wild, potentially in another form of media that you weren't expecting it, that makes it so worth it to be the only person in the room to understand that reference and then to be able to share that. There's a joy in that. So if you have any references that you actually really love and you want to share them, please put them in the comments below because I would love to check them out because, I love doing that kind of stuff. And as always, I want to say thank you for watching it if you've made this far. I do appreciate it. I appreciate it more than you know. Just listen to some dude goblin rant on the internet. And with all that being said, I will leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Jack Burton. Just remember what old Jack Burton does when the earth quakes and the poison arrows fall from the sky and the pillars of heaven shake. Yeah, Jack Burton just looks that big old Stormin square in the eyes and says, "Give me your best shot, pal. I can take it."